Well, it's been a long time coming, but I
Hmm.
am finally sitting down to do an interview with Spica, which apparently we have never done.
Never
Uh,
done one. It's
yes, I
crazy.
swear, I thought we had done one, and then
Oh.
a couple weeks ago, the TSM subreddit was like, "Why don't you ever interview
Hmm.
Spica?" And I was like, I thought I've done. I think we've just like we hung out at the
That
thing
the
at the
riot
start.
shoe, right? I
Yes, the
remember.
riot shoot at the start of the year. So maybe that's what I thought. But anyway, this interview is brought to you by Alienware. Spica, how are things going? We should say because I don't know when we'll release this that this is
Hmm.
after week 4 and before
Week
week
four.
5. So
Yeah, I mean, I think so far we're doing pretty well. I mean, I think we're like this splits record, we're second place, right? But like overall
yeah.
record, we're tied for first with 100 D. So far doing so good. So far so good.
Well, I'm happy to hear that things are going well for you.
Hmm.
Rather than do sort of the post game stuff because this is the middle of the week and I have
Yeah.
some more time with you, I'd like to just learn a little bit about you as a person. So, where I have no idea where you're from or what your background is.
Yeah, I mean, I'm from Philadelphia. Like, originally I was born in China, right? Like, I immigrated to the U.S. around when I was like 8. I want to say I've been living in the U.S. ever since, and then that's why I am pretty fluent in Mandarin, and that's sometimes I talk to Suar with using Mandarin,
Is
and
is that cool? Like the fact that you guys could do that?
yeah, I mean, I think Lost Lawrence he speaks Mandarin as well. So pretty much the only one that doesn't really understand is I would say POE. Like Hooney understands a little bit, right? Since he lived in Korea, and so sometimes he would just use Chinese to just talk in comms, have fun. But yeah, so I come from Philadelphia. Been playing League for like I don't know 8 years, I guess, almost 8 years now.
Is it crazy to think about how long? Because you're actually not that old, right?
No, I'm 20. I'm
Okay,
20.
so almost half your life you've been playing League of Legends.
Yeah, pretty much. Honestly, at this point, almost approaching half.
What grade were you in when you started?
Maybe like seventh grade,
Okay,
seventh grade or sixth grade. That's when I first remember playing the game.
so then what got you into it in the first place?
Honestly, I don't remember. I think I was just, I think maybe one of my friends played it, and then they like invited me to play, and then I just caught on, and then just play a lot. I played a lot when I first started, and it just got good.
What? Okay, how old were you when you got good? Like, what was
Got
okay?
good.
Because like I don't
Okay.
know if you started playing in seventh
Uh-huh.
grade, and then you were like diamond or challenger or like what was that path?
Yeah, I mean, I think I got diamond my first season, and then I probably hit challenger. I hit challenger on season 6. I want to say when I was like freshman or sophomore in high school, and then like the year after that, got invited to scouting grounds. Eventually, got a chance to go pro.
Can I ask? I don't know if this is too. Have you finished high school?
Yeah, I finished high school. I
Okay,
was.
cool.
It was kind of like a debate for me, because I went to scouting grounds when I was 16, right? So I was like debating whether to just drop out, pursue a pro career, or just finish high school first, and then go for that. And then what's funny is that Mike Young at the time, he was my scouting grounds coach. He was like, "Yeah, I finished high school. I recommend if you think you're good enough, like to still go pro in 2 years, right?
Yeah,
You should just finish high school, and then you can still get a chance if you're a really good player." And yeah, that's what I did.
I think you're bouncing your hand on the desk and it's
Oh,
making
okay,
the microphone go crazy.
okay,
Just
okay,
wave your hands emphatically if you want to make a great point.
okay.
So he told you to finish it. So
Mhm.
were you playing amateur or anything like that at the time?
I don't. Maybe I play amateur for like a few games, but other than that, no, not really.
Okay, so then in your mind, did you just know, all right, I'm going to graduate,
Hmm.
and then it's like straight off to esports land?
Yeah, I mean, I think at the time, I believe I was contracted to Echo Fox, right? And I knew that after I graduate, Echo Fox would give me a spot on their academy team. And then some stuff happened, and I ended up at TSM. I'm not gonna go into it. And then I started right after high school. I don't even think I attended my graduation. I just because the academy season was starting, so I
Yeah.
just came to LA, played for TSM.
Okay, so this is you didn't attend your own graduation. I know for me, my
Hmm.
parents would have been like devastated had they not been able to go to my graduation.
Uh-huh.
Was it an issue for you at all with your
No,
family?
I
Were they
mean my
like, I'm gonna go play
parents,
video games?
they don't. They were more so worried about me like actually pursuing a pro career. I would say less so than the graduation. Like I don't think they really care that much. It's just like the idea of like playing games as a job is like really foreign, right? Especially for like immigrant parents. So that's what like more of what they're focusing on.
How did you convince them? Because I know this is like almost like a
Oh,
cliche story at this point in
yeah.
time, but like how did it go for you at least?
I mean, honestly, I think it took a while, right? Like, when I first started, they weren't really supportive. I would say they like, I mean, they were kind of against it, but it's at the end of the day, it's still my choice, right? But I guess like, over the years, like I've been playing since 2019 summer, so it's pretty much 2 years now. When you start like making money, when they see like the success, they're more like acceptable, I would say.
Yeah. Okay. So it took a bit. What was your living situation when you first? Because I assume you came out here. I'm trying to remember everybody. I'm trying to remember when people brought academy teams and all that stuff out
Uh-huh.
here. But what was your dynamic like when you graduated and came out here?
Well, I mean, at the time, I think TSM took care of their academy team really, really well. I think because we had a house near the main team house, near Saltel, right?
Yeah.
So we would all have like everyone pretty much get their room. I think I roomed with Treats for a bit, but we had a just like a team house, and that's where we scrim and we play and just everything.
What do you have? Do you remember any of your like first impressions? Because I don't know if it was overwhelming for you. You know, you grew up
Hmm.
in Philly. You like high school ends for you. Suddenly
Hmm.
you're out here in LA. I think people who are like in their 20s and move out to
Hmm.
LA for the first time, it could be overwhelming. I don't know if it felt crazy for you then, or
Hmm.
if maybe it just felt like going to college.
Oh, yeah, I mean, it's definitely like a really, honestly, I would say a really exciting experience for me because I've never really like been that far away from home, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, I think like what made it really, really easy was Peter Zahn. He was the academy coach at the time. Like he was with me on Echo Fox when I was assigned to them, and then he left for TSM, and that's like I think a big reason because I worked with him before, and just the fact that we speak like the same language and we've met before and have like some connection, I guess, made it a lot easier for me to just integrate. And I think another thing that helped a lot is just I was friends with Tactical, right? He was playing for TSM Academy at the time, and we get along really, really well. So it's just like a road trip with your friends kind of thing. Like that's the feel I got. It is just like the transition was really smooth.
so I know you're part of this like generation of players, like tactical you mentioned,
Hmm.
who you guys were all kind of hanging out in academy around the same time. I know a lot of you guys know each other, and
Hmm.
so who is like your crew from back in the day, and do you still talk to them? Like
Oh,
the people, because all these guys end up on different teams. A lot of people don't realize that some of you guys are still
uh-huh.
friends, right?
I mean, I think just mainly just the TSM Academy guys. Treats I still talk to sometimes. Blaze Olive. I think we're all like pretty decent friends. Like I talk to Tactical a lot more, right? Because I guess we're just closer. We hang out still decently often. So I think just mainly the guys from TSM, and obviously as well, teammates from last year.
Yeah. What do you do when you hang out with tactical? What do you guys get up to?
Recently not much because season's busy, summer split, everyone's gunning for the world spots, right? Like everyone's screaming, even on their off days, they're playing solo queue. So like recently, I've just been going out with my teammates. We go out for food, just show soar around the place, pretty much.
So I interviewed Sword Art.
Yeah, I
I don't
saw
know if
that
you
one
you
actually.
saw
I
that. Yeah,
saw I saw that.
did he was it you that he said he went to get ice cream with in the
Yes.
evenings? Okay.
Yes. Every night he's like, let's go to McDonald's for some ice cream machine. The ice cream machine.
Yes. Is it ever not working? Because it is a meme, and people pointed out that like
Yeah,
McDonald's
honestly,
ice cream machines don't always work.
I was surprised. Like every time we went, it was working.
Okay.
Like the lady at the drive-thru told us like before one, it's always working. I don't know, it's like magic
Okay.
because the meme is always like it's broken, right? But
Yes.
it's been working for us every time, so that's good.
Very very good. Okay, I know TSM. Not that I'm anyone to speak, but I know TSM has a pretty big focus on trying to stay healthy. Is nightly ice cream from
Ooh.
McDonald's a good idea, Spica?
I mean, probably not, but honestly, you gotta like toe the line, right? There's like stay healthy and there's like happiness. I think at least for like me and Huni, like when we go out for food, like that's like, I mean, food is just dopamine for us. When you eat good food, you perform better.
Yeah.
Especially for Huni, I think that's like a really big thing for him.
Eat good food is Hooney's big thing. I appreciate
Yep.
that. Okay, kind of going back to you coming out here. How much did you follow Pro League before you became a part of it?
Well, I mean, I used to be a TSM fan. Back when I first started, I remember watching like R1 to learn how to jungle.
Okay.
I think I followed TSM pretty like religiously throughout like season 5, season 6. And then as I got like better at the game, I stopped really following pro play. Like I was more so focused on like my own gameplay, trying to improve. So I wasn't really following the pro scene really like, hard. But sorry, what was the
Oh,
question
I was just
again?
asking how much did you follow it beforehand? And I think
Yeah,
you
I think
answered
it's a
it.
decent. I think it's a decent amount. I wouldn't say I'm like a super big fan.
So if you were a TSM fan though, was
Hmm.
it weird at all to end up playing on a team with like
Oh,
Bjergsen and
I
like
mean,
Doublelift comes back and all that stuff?
it's
Like,
definitely kind of interesting. Like I remember, watching them in like season 4, season 5. It is somehow I just ended up on their team. It was it was a really really good experience. Like just getting to know like people who you used to watch, used to like learn from, firsthand. I think
yeah.
that's a pretty good thing.
So as a comparison, a little
Hmm.
anecdote on my end. So I got into esports in 2011, and I remember I had followed StarCraft 2 like crazy. And I'm guessing
Hmm.
you probably don't know any of the StarCraft 2 personalities,
No,
but
probably not.
I went to go host an MLG in 2011 in Providence, Rhode Island. And when I walked into the hotel, there were all these StarCraft 2 pros and
Hmm.
personalities all around me. And it felt really weird. And I just knew in that moment, I was like, okay, you can't fanboy. You're just now a
You gotta
part of this
stay
industry
cool.
now.
You're
Yes,
part of it. You're part of it.
you're
Yeah.
part of this. And I don't know if you feel like you ever had that moment. Like, I don't know if you like walked into the TSM house or you ended up going to like the house, like the main house where they were all training and like,
Hmm.
you just saw everybody and you're like, I have to be cool, or if it just felt natural for you. Maybe
I
it
mean,
just
yeah, definitely. I remember, walking into scrims the first day when I have to sub in for, I believe regular split season, right? 2019 summer. I had
yeah,
to sub in. It definitely felt pretty surreal. Like holy shit. Obviously, like every academy player when they first join academy, like their goal is to just play LCS, right? And then I just suddenly go from academy to LCS in one day, and it's definitely really, really exciting and kind of surreal. You're playing. I was playing with Bjerg, BB, like these guys who are really, really good, and then you just got to keep up. I think that's the main thing.
were you ever nervous about the TSM jungler curse at all? Like, did you know about this? Did you think about
No,
it?
I knew about it. I knew about it. I mean, I think I talked about it in my 2020 summer roster update
Yeah,
that I'm gonna break the curse. So far, I'm doing pretty well, I would say. I'm
yeah,
still
you
playing. I'm
definitely
still
are.
playing. I
Yes,
think I've been playing for 2 splits now, right? So
yeah.
kind of broke the curse. I think it's kind of a meme at this point, honestly. I think you know thing is just sometimes it's just unlucky. You just don't like. I believe some players every team is different, right? Like sometimes even though you might have 5 good players, the team might not be good. So I guess you just got to find the right person for the team.
Yeah. I mean, it is really cool that you've been able to do this. I think one of the other things that's interesting to me is you and Tactical, and I think we even maybe talked about this a little bit at the Riot shoot at the beginning of
Hmm.
the year. But you and Tactical and some other folks, you all kind of showed up and just started like kicking ass. And previously it felt like the old generation of players had
Hmm.
such a stranglehold on like the top of those like top spots. Like it felt like
Hmm.
it was rare that you saw somebody really break in unless they like came over from another place where they'd like won worlds previously or they'd just been
Hmm.
around forever. So what is there any idea why you think it is that you and Tactile and a lot of
Um,
those folks have done such a good job?
I mean, I think a big part is the fact that our roster was like really, really good at the time. Tactical was on TL. He had core JJ as support. Obviously, really, really great player, world champ. I had Bjerg and Doublelift on my team. And I think just having veterans is actually really, really helpful for rookie players. Like I learned a lot from them. Like just not just like inside the game, right? Like how to play the game, also like outside of the game. Just psychological things as well. I think that's really, really important that people often overlook. So I think just having just a veteran roster teaching you just everything about the game, about how to handle yourself outside of the game as well, really accelerated like our growth. And just I think that's why we look like really, really well, really, really good, like our first split.
I mean, similarly, because so many of these names have left, it
Hmm.
has allowed you all to kind of like start to assume the throne in a way and like
Hmm.
become kind of the stars of this next generation. I don't know if you ever think about that, like how much attention there is
Uh,
on you, and I don't know.
yeah, I mean, I've definitely felt like my role in the team, like this season at least, is like very different from last split or last season in 2020. I think 2020 I was more there to learn, learn about just everything. I was a rookie. I didn't know anything about the game, and I was still trying to figure out how I want to play the game. And I think this season is more so like, now I've learned like all these new things from these like veterans, and I'm gonna, I'm more in like a leadership position where I'm gonna be the one shot calling. I'm gonna be the one, being more active in review. And I think it's definitely been like a pretty pleasant surprise for me, or like a really good learning experience so far.
Is it weird to you at all to think about like how quickly you ended up becoming like a leader and such a core point of this team?
I mean, I wouldn't say I'm like the leader per se, but I think I definitely have like a very big say in in game. I usually shock out early game, most of like mid game, and some late game. If the game goes really late, but I think it's definitely like a very different role. And sometimes I'm still like finding difficulties, just expressing myself or like trying to like a big example, like recently, is just being like toxic. I think that's like a really big talking point, right? Like what's the difference between like toxic and criticism? I think that's like something that I've been trying to learn recently.
Are you being toxic, Spica?
Uh, I mean,
I
honestly,
saw a video.
it's just a fine line, right? It's just a fine line.
I saw a video of you literally choking Bjergsen.
Yeah, I mean that video was fun to make.
Yes, I mean I want to ask you about that in a second, but before we get away from it, I do want like, is there a world where like do you sometimes think like, oh wow, I'm being like way too shitty to my teammates or something?
Yes, sometimes I feel like it's definitely hard to, when you really want to win, and you're the one making the calls. I think it's very hard to differentiate between like criticism and just flaming people. And I think it definitely, when you criticize someone, the tone has to be more constructive, right? And sometimes it might not come off that way. So I think it's definitely something you have to learn and just get better at.
How does this? I'm not expecting you to tell me the profanity-laced tirades that you're going on against your teammates, but like it's funny to me that you feel confident enough to get like really frustrated with these guys, because I would imagine it would be easy for them to slap you down. Like if I'm Sword Art, if I'm PoE and I'm like, I took SKT to 5 games, and Hootie's like, and by the way, I was on that SKT, like I assume it might be tough for them. Like I'm surprised that they're not like, shut the fuck up, Speak.
Well, I mean, they're like, honestly, they're like really like, all of them are not really that kind of person. I think they're all very soft person. Like they'll never just straight up call you out, be like, you played this one like shit.
Yeah.
Like you should have done this, not that. So I appreciate that. Sometimes I do believe I go a little too far, and I think it was one scene in TSM Legends where like Soar called me out for just being tilted in scrims. And I think that's like something really good to have. I don't think a lot of players would do that, and it definitely takes someone with a lot of experience to just straight out say that. And I think that's very helpful. So just so I know like where's the line, right? Like where how should you handle every situation.
Yeah. Okay, so that video that you mentioned, or that I mentioned, you said you liked working on. It was crazy. I'm so happy I interviewed Parth, because otherwise I would have never known that whole thing was like written, directed, produced by, starred by, all this stuff by you. Like how? Why did you decide to do this? What was the backstory?
I don't know. I just see all these teams. I think I saw Jad doing the video.
Yes.
About him benching off. I was like, wait, like what if we just do this? Like it's gonna be so funny. Like it's just gonna bang on Twitter, and like people were talking about how TSM is like the only org that didn't really have big roster swaps when they usually have some drama going on. So
yes.
that was like that's the perfect opportunity, and it's like right before LCS as well. So it's definitely gonna be really funny.
So how did you approach that? Like, did you just bring it up in like a meeting, or did you like, you're like, I want to do this. I'm going to go talk to the TSM content team or something.
Well, I mean, I definitely didn't come up with everything, right? But, I had the idea of just, me flaming, just pick a person, Huni, just say whatever you want to them, just flame them, and then just have each scene. And then I think I also like kick our coaching staff and choke. I came up with like kicking Curry.
Yeah.
But the choking part on Bjerg, I think our video director Andrew came up with that.
Gotcha. Yeah, very good scene. Very good scene. Just really shows, I think, the difference in last year to this year, where Bjerg is now getting choked by Spica, rather than that. You were also like, you put out a lot of bangers on Twitter, and it's interesting to me because I remember I sort of bemoan personally, because my job is like please let
Social
these
media.
players be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the LCS players, compared to the old days, like I remember you mentioned Odd One.
I
And all those
remember,
guys,
yeah.
a lot of them just don't care, right? And I get it
Mm-hmm.
because like they're just focused on getting to Worlds.
Mm-hmm.
Do you care? Do you think a lot about this stuff?
Oh, I mean, definitely. I think recently I've been more, just be more open-minded about, tweeting a lot more. I think last play event, like last year, I really only tweet when I win. I think, I mean, obviously it's like really easy, right? Like, you win, you tweet, GG, good game. I don't think that's really something substantial. And like a lot of fans are just tired of that. I think as I'm more comfortable with myself, I want to just explore using social media a lot more. And I think it's like really fun, right? Like I think recently CoreJJ has been trash talking on Twitter every time the LCS matches start. He just trash talk Twitter. Last week he said that I am Grig's bench warmer.
Yes.
I hit him back with something. So I think it definitely makes the game feel more exciting. I think, it gives the fans something to look, forward to. I think it's been like pretty fun so far.
Yeah, I mean it is you. I think you've done a pretty good job. I think of striking a balance because
Mm-hmm.
sometimes pro players, I feel like, especially people new, they
Mm-hmm.
don't know how to bring it into a thing where it's like clever
Mm-hmm.
and fun versus just like, well, now
Yeah.
you're being a dick.
Yeah.
And so how have you? Is that just you as a person? You feel like you know
Yeah, I
how
mean,
to?
I think the biggest thing is just be confident. I think a lot of players are not confident because they're scared, like, what if we lose? I'm gonna look like a clown, and I think that's just like part of it, right? I think some people do take it like a bit too far. Like, if you trash talk someone, they lose, everyone just clown you. But I think that's just part of the fun. Like, you get the impressions.
Yeah.
I think you just gotta go with it. I think that's the biggest thing, just confidence.
So this is something that I've entirely constructed in my brain, and I'm sure is not really the case. But I love this image of you having like the two dads in Bjergsen and
Hmm.
Peter last year, and
Yeah.
like I love the fact that both these people take this stuff completely different. Like when
Yeah.
Bjergsen tweets, you're like, oh my god, he actually used
He
Twitter.
tweeted
Then
once a
you have
month.
Peter who's like trolling Reddit, trying to find memes that he could just shamelessly put on his Twitter without
Yeah.
any credit. It
Mhm.
feels like you've gone more in the Peter direction. I don't. Did
I mean,
you?
yeah, I think Peter definitely inspired me. Him just like shit posting on Twitter, posting random stuff. I think last year he posted a lot of like memes from TSM subreddit, which were pretty funny, and I really like them. So I think Peter's way of doing it is pretty fun.
Do you look at the TSM subreddit?
Um, Usually on game days I look at it. Yeah,
Okay.
I frequent.
So there are a lot of pro players who say never
Hmm.
look at any of this stuff, right?
Hmm.
And similar, like I think there's a pretty good chance that I don't know if I've ever asked him, but I think
Yeah,
Soren probably doesn't look at that much. Again,
yeah.
on the other hand, you have Peter who was always like he
He's
would look
always
at
on
it
it.
no matter what, like win or
Hmm.
lose. It was like you either get your dessert or you get your
Yeah,
punishment or something.
yeah. I mean, I think I really like every one of our post match threads. I think it's good. Obviously, you got to take it with a grain of salt, right? Because sometimes after win or loss, people are emotional. But I think it's good to just read some of the comments. What the fans are thinking. I mean, sometimes, not always though. Like the fans have like good like insights about the team, and sometimes they have some really dumb takes, obviously. And I think when people are flaming us, they're saying like bad things. I just take it as like motivation. Like I believe last season, when I played the Kane game, everybody was flaming me on Reddit. But then you kind of just look back, you look back and then you go to playoffs where like everybody's like, holy shit, this guy's smurfing. I think it's like it's just like a reward, right? Like you can see the progression and like how people's opinion change and how you can also definitely like see yourself improving as well.
Yeah. All right. I know we're running a little low on time, but I wanted to ask you something a little bit more. Mostly staying away from the games and all that stuff.
Hmm.
But how confident are you that, I guess, in TSM right now? Because as you mentioned, like C9, TL seem to be having pretty big issues.
Hmm.
Historically, the like rivals of
Yeah.
TSM. Then you've got 100T who seem to be on the rise. And so I'm kind of curious what you think of TSM in this split as a whole.
Um, I think I think 100 Thieves is better than us right now. I think they definitely have their gameplay just seems more cohesive, and I think they are very versatile in the way they draft. Like their ball lane has shown, like their ball lane pretty much play everything, right? Like they pull out the Lee Sin Senate like last
Yeah.
week, I believe, and they play like pretty much all the meta picks. I think while we're tied for first, I don't really feel like it. I think we still make a lot of mistakes that like better teams will punish. But I think that we could definitely improve. Like we did last play, I think our focus right now is like much more clear. I think we're working towards the right thing, but I think we definitely still have a lot of things to work on.
This iteration of TSM, what do you think its strengths are? Not even necessarily like
Mm-hmm.
I don't even mean like, oh, like what PoE is good in the mid lane or
Mm-hmm.
something like that, but I mean more just these 5 players.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think is like really special or unique about them and the 5 of you guys together that perhaps other teams don't have?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's an asset to you guys.
I mean, I think definitely the biggest thing that people meme on is just like the power of friendship. I think just the fact that we get along very well is like a huge advantage, right? Like, a lot of teams just kind of broke down. There's when they start losing, like people are just not working together. I think that doesn't really happen in our team. I think, the longer you play, I think you will see how that's like a really, really important thing. Just like team environment in general is definitely very important to how a player perform. I think there's like skill and then there's definitely like a psychological aspect of the game that like a lot of people often overlook, like how players affect the team environment, how that can perfect or that can impact your performance, right? So I think in terms of environment, we definitely got that one on lock.
What is it about the roster? Like, why are you guys all friends? Why are you all able to make this work? Because past iterations of TSM, I would hear stuff like, "Oh yeah, a bunch of those guys hate each other," or something like that, or they really do get like scream at each other in scrims or whatever. But what is it about the 5 of you guys that you think just works?
I mean, I think it's just the personalities, right? Like everyone, no one's really the super intense guy. I mean, I would say I'm like the most intense person in like scrims, reviews, whatever. And I mean, I don't think I'm not that bad, but maybe other people might not think so. But I think it's just the personalities, how people get along. Like having a big emphasis on how we're not just coworkers. It's like I think that's how a lot of teams feel. We're just 5 people put together to play a game. More so like we get to know each other while also playing the game.
Yeah. Other than that, I mean, is there looking forward to your future? I mean, how long? It's an interesting thing because so many people.
Mm-hmm.
I ask this question whenever they're towards the end of their career, but maybe I should ask it just as much in the beginning. Like, how long do you think you'll play League of Legends?
Oh, I mean, honestly, I hope as long as possible. I mean, I've been playing this game for already 8 years, and this is only my second year, really, or third split as like a full-time LCS starter, right? And I think there's still like the game is changing every day, so it's always like interesting. You never really get stale. I've thought about like what happens after I end my career, maybe like swap roles, go for like coaching like Bjerg. But I think right now, I hope to just play as long as possible. Maybe playing LPL one day. I think that's like my biggest dream, probably.
To play
Maybe
an
something.
LPL?
Yep. Maybe something
Wow.
because I speak Mandarin fluently, right?
Yes.
So if the NA thing doesn't work well, I will go to LPL like Shadow, and try to achieve something, I guess.
That is crazy. I mean, just because I feel like, yeah, a lot of people don't consider that. Do you have like a timeline on when are you like, oh yeah, that's like later on in my career, like
Oh.
3 or 4 years if I can't. I don't know if you're like, I'm giving NA and LCS enough time to see if they could do it, and then if not, then
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I was listening to Peter talking. He was like, he retired because he felt like NA had no chance, right?
yeah.
And maybe I play for multiple seasons, and then you're like, holy shit, we get shit on at Worlds every year. Maybe I'll just move to LPL and see, just to prove to myself, seeing how good I actually am, because I definitely think playing the Asian regions definitely elevate your personal skill as well. So it's just like just for self confidence and see how good I am, pretty much.
Yeah. Very good. Well, hey, I really appreciate the time to sit down with you for this like extended interview. It's always nice because like, when a game ends, you just have to ask like,
Yeah,
oh, so you
yeah.
guys lost or you won that.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you want to say to any of the TSM fans out there?
Yeah, I mean, I just want to shout out to the TSM subreddit. Like, I read the subreddit like pretty often. I think it has gotten a lot better over the years. Honestly, I remember like reading it 2019. And, oh my God, it was
Well, just wait, and if you guys start losing,
It was.
it's gonna go back.
I think that's why we're winning right now. Everything's going all good, but I appreciate everything that everyone does. It's funny, just looking at the memes and stuff. Like I really appreciate, after you win, you go to subreddit and people are already posting memes. I think it makes it feel more of like a community, right? Like we're together. So I definitely appreciate what they're doing.
Very good. All right. Well, thank you so much, Spica, for the interview. Really appreciate it. And I guess we'll see how the rest of the split goes for you guys, but looking forward to watching. Thanks.
Thank you very much for having me.
Howdy. It's me, Travis Gafford. I live in Southern California, but we don't have a Southern draw. I don't know where I'm going with this. Listen, please do me a favor and sign up for Alienware Arena. You can do so by clicking the link in the description of this video, and then clicking at the very top of that page, very, very top, there's going to be a logo that just says Alienware Arena. If you click that, you can sign up. And if you've already signed up, please go check it out, because they basically have different stuff going through there every week that you can get. You can earn. You don't have to have an Alienware computer. In fact, this is a really great way to help support me by supporting Alienware without going out and spending money on a computer, because maybe you're not in the situation right now where you need to do that. Hopefully in the future you will be, for everyone. That would be great for me and you and Alienware. But this is a cool way that you can sign up. We love it when people sign up for Alienware Arena. Thanks for watching.